Thank you. And now I will address David Shrayer-Petrov. And I would like to say that I had a wonderful time with him this afternoon, interviewing and knowing him better. And David Shrayer is a poet, writer, translator, and I'll ask him, so he'll introduce his biography a little bit. But for me, his biography is a kind of symbolic Jewish life, biography of the 20th century. Half of his life, till 51, he was in the Soviet Union, in Russia. He was a poet. He published only one book of poetry those years, and 2 books of essays. And 1978, when you left Russia? 1987. They left the family, the interesting family, left Russia to the States. And since then, we are speaking about the big amount of books, of poems, of poetry, novels, and translations, and editing, and it's amazing. And everything is in Russian. And there is a kind of collaboration, very interesting collaboration between him and his son that we will speak later, Maxim Shrayer, that he is translating him and editing. And there is, it's not a dialogue and not dialogue. It's something else that's going on here between a father and his son, that both are writers. And I would like to ask you
and
before.
Wife, translator.
And?
Wife is translator.
And there is a missing figure here, Emilia, wife of David Shrayer, that she is an English teacher and a translator. And she translated... זה לא מיקרופון, זה שייך לוידאו. זה המיקרופון. And she translated part of his poems and novels into English. And I would like to ask, first of all, if you can read your poems in Russian, and then I'll read it in Hebrew with a translation of Roman Katsman. I think this is the premiere of a new translator here, Roman Katsman.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank university for the possibility to read my poems, and first of all, to meet these people, because I really became much richer now, because the whole world come here from different countries, and the whole world became Jewish world. So, and especially I want to thank my son, Professor Maxim Shrayer, for translation into English, and Roman Katsman and Chava Pinchas-Cohen for translation into Ivrit.
Roman, not me.
Yeah, but you edited that. Thank you. So I will read a little bit, because I see people want to go to reception.
No, we have another session.
No?
Don't shortcut it.
The first poem, первое стихотворение «Моя славянская душа». «Моя славянская душа в еврейской упаковке, кляня стервенело быт, которым всяк по горло сыт, вдруг обернется ловкачом, проделает кульбитик ловкий и вырвется, чтобы сгореть, как чудо-камень, антрацит. Я побегу за ней, постой, что делать мне среди березок, с моей еврейской пустой, такой типичной упаковкой, и рытвины, и все канавы, меня считавшие тверезом, поймут, что я пустопорожен, как отгремевший шарабан. Вернись, вернись ко мне, душа, ты поводырь, а я калека, нет у меня, мне не дана славянских ликов широта. Вернись, вернись, ведь раньше я так походил на человека, что пить со мною не гнушались, не запирали ворота. Забравшись где-то на чердак, на сеновале закопавшись, моя душа, как восьминог, таращит голые глаза, сказала мне, уж лучше я пойду к пропившим и пропавшим, чем разобью себя, как в ночь, с окна упавшая слеза.
תראו כמה שפות סביב השולחן. Look how many languages around us. נפשי הסלאבית. It was written in 1976, this poem. And he said, I asked him, when did you write it? He said, when I understood that I have to write something special as a Jew, when they started to oppress me עבור this kind of poems in the Soviet Union. באריזה יהודית תמונה נפשי הסלאבית. היא תקלל את השגרה. בפי הכל היא ארורה. היא תתהפך כמו אקרובט בסלטה קרניבלית, כמו פלא, אבן פחם. היא תישרף, משוחררה. ערוץ אצעק, חכי חכי, מה אעשה בין שדרים באריזה יהודית שקורקה כה טיפוסית? התעלות והבורות שהחשיבוני בין פיקחים יבינו שאני ריקן ככרכרה קולנית. חזרי חזרי אליי נפשי, אני נקה את מדריכה, פרצוף סלבים רחב לי, נתן לי הגורל. חזרי חזרי, הרי אני לבן אדם דימיתי אז, לא מעשו לשתות איתי, השער לא ננעל. אי שם בעליית גג, בהתחפר במטבנים, בבהות עיניים ערומות, כמו אלה של תמנון, נפשי אמרה לי, אזחל אל השטויים האבודים, ולא עובד כדמעה אל ליל מן החלון. רומן קצמן.
You want me to read the English now? Rather than
Yes, you
Okay,
can read it.
Yeah, so this is just the same poem in English. My Slavic soul. My Slavic soul trapped in the shell of a familiar Jewish wrapping, forswearing the daily strife that suffocates me all my life, one day will outsmart its lot, turn a clever somersault and dashingly escape to burn like anthracite, the wondrous stone. I'll chase her. Wait, what shall I do alone amid this grove of birches in my perennial, banal, so typically Jewish wrapping? The ruts and roadside ditches that have viewed me as a solid fellow will realize that I am barren like an abandoned charabanc. Come back, my soul, you are my guide. A blind cripple, I'm helpless. I don't have the wild expanse of those generous Slavic faces. Come back, my soul, come back to me. I once resembled a human being, and once the people weren't loath to share with me their drunken joy, hiding from me in someone's barn where, in the hayloft, she took refuge, bulging her bare naked eyes as though she were an octopus. My soul said, I'd rather be with those who have lost their riches than shatter myself, a teardrop that falls into the icy night.
Вилла Боргеза. Случались собаки на вилле Боргеза. Случались в том смысле, что обитали. Случались собачью трубя бордельезу. Случались с хвостами трубя, о детали. Конкретная музыка тел шелестящих. Балетная пляска собачьего тела. Конкретная плач о России болящей. Балетная плач унеслась, улетела. с собакою, с римскими псами на вилле, скользучую рыбой из Тибра по травам, забыть, как доили, давили, травили, забыть окаянную ласку державы на вилле Бар-Гезе в ночи италийской, на самой роскошной окраине Рима, бездомной собакою выть по российским, навеки потерянным, неповторимым, в траве перепутанной с волосами, очнуться прижатым хвостами к ограде, очнутся под римскими небесами, твердя полоумно: ах, Наденька, Надя, ах, Вера, Верунчик, ах, Любушка, Люба, Валюша, Марина, Катюша и Зина, здесь тянут ко мне пуританские губы, трезвейшие новоанглийские зимы, когда умирать мне придется, чуть живы, прошепчут мои полумертвые губы. Мы стали чужими, Россия, чужими, а были своими сыны и игуды. Как это забавно валяться в обнимку с последней бутылкой, с последним приветом на вилле Бар-Гезе, как старому снимку на свалке истории вместе с конвертом на вилле Бар-Гезе якшаться с трубящей компанией псов абсолютно античных. О Боже, но что же тебе до болящей души и до мраморных, анемичных созданий, наставленных между стволами, как в летнем саду, где когда-то гуляли, ночами гуляли по стежкам-дорожкам, стояли ночами под бледными небесами, какие архангелы в трубы трубили, какие опричники псы нас губили, какие иуды в любви нас топили, а мы все равно эту землю любили. Она отвергала нас, отторгала, она изводила греховно зачатых, а нам не хватало, нам все было мало, пока нас не сжили со света проклятых, пока не добрел я до варварской виллы, где псы и античные девы толпою по стежкам-дорожкам гуляют, гуляют, как милый. Помнишь, гуляли дома с тобою?
Can I ask you? Okay.
Yeah, no, the footnote. So this is the same poem, Villa Borghese.
Can you tell in few words when it was written? It's
Well,
part of.
This was written, actually, I have in my so-called archive, actually, the notes my father started taking for this poem, and I think it was in the summer of 1987 when we were in transit.
Yes, in Rome.
In Ladispoli, actually, outside Rome. But the footnote is, this translation is a labor of a collaboration and a literary friendship. Well, the co-translator is an American writer who publishes poems as Dolores Stewart and fiction as Dolores Riccio. And the way we worked on this is my father recorded it in Russian and she had a tape. Then I prepared a word-for-word literal translations with extended commentary. You know, Nabokov said that commentary should be like skyscrapers, and essentially that's what it looked like. And then we went through about 6 or 7 rounds where it's metrically precise, but you know, English prosody likes to be a little freer and looser, and it's very important not to be pounding the clavichords. So basically that's the result, in any case. I'm very pleased with this translation, perhaps a little more than with the other one I read. Villa Borghese. These dogs copulating at Villa Borghese, copulating, the casual bitches and males taking over the place, blaring out brotheliers, blatantly wagging their tails. Oh, details. The concrete music of dog bodies, rustling, of dogs' scrawny bodies, a low street ballet, the concrete tears for the anguish of Russia. The weeping ballet has flown, rushed away like a stray with the Roman dogs of the villa, like a gasping fish on the banks of the Tiber, Forget the purging, the crushing, the spilling. Forget the evil caress of the empire at Villa Borghese on Italianite evenings. In grandeur, the lap of luxurious Rome, a stray is still howling for his Russian leavings, the lost, irretrievable things of his home. To wake and feel pressed by tails to the railing, to wake and feel grass intertwining with hair beneath skies of Rome, to go madly on mumbling, oh, Nadinka, Nadia, a stumbling prayer, oh, Vera, Verunchik, oh, Lyubushka, Luba, Valusha, Marina, Katyusha, and Zina. Here, the soberest New England winters offer their lips to me, cool and serene. When my time comes to die, when I'm barely alive, half-dead lips will whisper like never before. For you and us, Russia, no closeness survives. We sons of Yehuda, who used to be yours, to lie here embracing. Perhaps it's a laugh, last bottle, last letter, whatever remains at Villa Borghese, like an old photograph on history's dump, along with the frame at Villa Borghese, hang out with the gang of roaming wild dogs, an antique mosaic. How much can you care, oh my Lord, for the painting soul, and how much for the marble, anemic creatures arranged among columns of wood like Petersburg's summer gardens? We walked a sweet winding path, Lover's Lane, and we stood at night beneath skies that would never grow dark. Those archangels blaring their trumpets of exile, those animals hounding us, shunned and banned, those Judases killing with kindness and smiles, and yet, despite all, we still loved that land that cast us away like inferior stuff, aborted like something conceived out of error. All that wasn't all. It was never enough until they were rid of us, cursed ones, forever, until I came here to this barbarous villa where statuesque maidens and dogs crowd my sight, out walking the dear little paths. Like my darling, remember back home how we walked those white nights.
I will not read all of it in Hebrew. I read only few lines in order to get the rhythm and the story. There is a story in this poem, long poem, and it's a kind of
Meditation.
no, it's very expressionist, and it has this feeling of living one place and struggling inside. It's beautiful. בווילה בורגזה כלבים בעלו, כלומר, במובן מתבייתים ושוכנים, כלומר, בורדליזת כלבים חצצרו, תקעו בזנבות, הפרטים קטנטנים. קונקרטי, ניגון הגופים ברחשם, בלעתי, ריקוד גופיהם של כלבים, קונקרטי, על רוסיה כואבת בחייה, בלטי, בחייה, היא ברחה לתמיד. הכלב הרומי בווילה בורגזה, הדג המחליק מן הטיבר לאחו, אשכח את העושק, הרדף, הגזל, אשכח את אימפריית סדום והשחת, בשני סימני שאלה. אני עוצרת כאן, פשוט רציתי את I just wanted to give the impression of the translation and this poem. And I would like to, we have to finish this session, so I would like to ask you one poem. We didn't have a conversation, but I think these poems are a kind of good conversation, at least for me. And I would like to ask you if you can read this poem, I'm Your Jew.
You just read my mind. Because
after interviewing
first
you,
of all, I want
do
again to thank Roman, because I heard now and I feel that the sounds are very rich in your translation, very rich sounds, because this poem, actually, in general, all my poetry, based on the folks music and folks poetry. And this is, you found connection between Ivrit and Slavic way to write poems. Thank you. So I will read the last one poem, and interesting that today when we were talking with Chava, she told me, you were translated into Yiddish also. I told, no, but Chava told me, look at this is your line. And read Yiddish line. I understand, even understand this was. But it was like a discovery of Roman, because he found that in this particular poems, it's good to make connection between Russian, Yiddish, and Hebrew. And he did it with the great masters. Okay, I will read the last one. It named I am your Jew. Я твой еврей. Когда замерзну окончательно, прильну к тебе, но отогрей. Забудь шагов моих зайчатину, я твой еврей. А это значит, мне обещано грешить и трусить за людей. Приду к тебе, о моя женщина, я твой еврей. Одни... В тебе загублено достаточно навязанных судьбой страстей. Освободись от правды карточной. Я твой еврей. Я осознал, в тебе заложена надежда вековых корней. Страшусь в себе мессии ложного. Я твой еврей. Спасибо.
And there is no English translation yet.
Good.
So, Chava, please
Good.
read the Hebrew.
All right.
Yeah,
So I'll read the line in Yiddish, and if there is a way to correct me, you can do it both.
Gilles is better.
Ich bin dein Yid. Is it okay?
Dein Yid.
Ich
bin dein Yid.
Dein Yid.
Ich bin dein Yid.
Yid.
Yid. יקשה גופי, יקפא סופית, אדבק אלייך, נא חממי, הושי מפסיעה שפנית, איך בין דיין יד. הווה אומר זה יהודי, רוך לב וחטא, נגד רעים. אבוא אלייך רעייתי, איך בין דיין יד. מספיק ודי המיתו תשוקות, אשר הגידו לך קלפים. השתחריץ, איל לדרור, איך בין דיין יד. בך עצורות אני יודע, תקוות של שורש קמאי, יראתי, כמשיח שקר, איך בן דין יד.
בסדר.